airport buses. These low-slung wide vehicles were, of course, built for a very specific use. But there was one airport bus-like vehicle that was designed for a function in a future that never actually happened. This is the story of the Washington Dulles International Airport mobile lounge buses, possibly the worst party bus ever built. Hi, this is Jeffrey. Now, back in the late 1950s, a brand new airport was being designed for the Washington D.C. area. But this was not going to be just any airport. This was going to be something different. This was going to be the airport of the future. This was going to be the airport that all subsequent airports would follow. And why was that? Because this was the world's first airport that was going to be designed solely for jet aircraft. Now, in order to accomplish this goal, the Washington Airport Authority hired a number of very famous architects and designers to come up with the concept of this new airport. Now, part of the concept was to have a new transportation system in which these very large, bus-like mobile lounges would take passengers from the terminal onto the plane. And it was supposed to have been a very enjoyable and satisfactory and satisfying experience. But in the end, it really didn't turn out that way. And so that's what we're going to look at. So let's get started in learning about the mobile bus-like lounges at Washington's Dulles International Airport. The Mobile Airport Lounge, a relic of an optimistic past. The mobile lounge was part of a dream where a traveler strutted into an airport and was delivered to their plane in luxury. That dream, however, is mainly long gone. Although not exactly a celebrated subject, it does have its interesting aspects. The mobile lounge sounds like it should be some type of elaborate luxury vehicle with lava lamps, plush sofas, and a well-stocked bar. In reality, it's a glorified bus, 3 stories high, some of them on stilts. It transports airline passengers from the terminal to their plane and vice versa. It might have become an integrated part of modern-day air travel if someone named Frank der Ewen had not invented the extendable jet bridge. Both have the same purpose, which is to protect air travelers from the weather and provide easier boarding and disembarkation. Before the lounge and the jet bridge came along, it was the mobile staircase unloading passengers out onto the tarmac. That was romantic and all, watching celebrities wave from the plane's doorway before descending to the ground. But such romantic images do tend to dissipate with rain, wind, noise, and the aroma of aviation fuel. The mobile lounge was a component of famed architect Eero Saarinen's creative vision for Washington Dulles International Airport, whose main terminal he designed in 1958. This was the first ever airport intended to handle jet aircraft, so Saarinen had no previous example to work from or no frame of reference. He was, in effect, creating one. In his design, the Dulles terminal was separated from the tarmac and the airport's operations by about 4,000 feet or 1,220 meters. When it was about time to take off, the passengers wouldn't walk to the gates. Instead, they would board a luxurious mobile lounge that would whisk them away to a waiting plane. The passengers would then seamlessly transfer from the mobile lounge to their waiting aircraft. The renowned Saarinen was born in Finland in 1910. His family emigrated to the United States when he was 13, and his father was also an architect. Some of Eero Saarinen's most notable works besides Dulles include the TWA terminal at New York's JFK Airport, the St. Louis Arch, and the GM Technical Center in his home state of Michigan, as well as the Tulip Chair, among others. The mobile lounges were brought into service not just at Dulles, but also at JFK Airport, the Charles de Gaulle Airport near Paris, plus airports serving Mexico City, Montreal, Philadelphia, and Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. There are actually a couple of later built variations of the mobile lounge concept, which are the passenger transfer vehicle, also known as the PTV, and the nickname moon buggies, which are mounted on a scissor truck, and the plane mate, which raise themselves on screws to mate directly with an aircraft. The original Dulles Mobile Lounge was jointly built by two companies. It was Chrysler that supplied the chassis and the two engines per vehicle and a variety of moving parts. The bodywork was fabricated by the now defunct Budd Company of Philadelphia that was so famously known as the manufacturer of high-quality stainless steel passenger trains. No wonder the body looks somewhat like a 1960s era American subway car on steroids. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic specifications of the original Dulles Mobile Airport Lounge. Number 1. Length is 54 feet with a driver's cab at each end. Number 2. Width is 16 feet. Number 3. Height is 17.5 feet. Number 4. Weight is 37 tons. Number 5 could originally seat 71 people with a seated and standing capacity of 102 passengers. Number 6, top speed is 26 miles per hour, although the current limit at Dulles is 20 miles per hour. Number 7 are powered by two 172 horsepower engines, although the type is unknown. Number 8, each mobile lounge originally cost $233,733 each, or approximately $2,467,595 when adjusted for inflation in 2024. The original engineering prototype cost $1.6 million in 1961 currency. As it happened originally, there was a bar on board. It's easy to imagine a group of Mad Men-type advertising executives drinking cocktails before getting on the plane and flirting with the stewardesses. In the late 1950s, industrial designers Charles and Ray Eames made a short animated film titled The Expanding Airport, extolling the virtues of the mobile lounge and stated it might be serving a few of the conveyances that have yet to come along. This was eerily far-sighted because NASA used a plane mate during the Space Shuttle program at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The agency also had one at Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. However, the mobile lounge has become more of an anomaly than a legend. It turned out not to be the elegant, logical solution envisioned by Saarinen and Mr. and Mrs. Eames. The jet bridge being one reason, and the moving walkway was another, and not having to pay a team of mobile lounge operators became a strong incentive to phase them out. Currently, Dulles has a fleet of 19 mobile lounges and 30 plane mates. Mobile transporters are still in use at Montreal's Trudeau International Airport, for example, and for the time being, they still ferry international travelers at Dulles between the main terminal and Concourse D, who must be kept separate from domestic passengers until they have cleared customs. However, the first phase of the Aerotrain system introduced at Dulles in 2010 has replaced mobile lounges to concourses A, B, and C. The ramps at the one end of the lounge were eventually removed, and doors that could interlock with a terminal building were fitted to either end. Starting your trip in a mobile lounge today may seem mundane, but it's still a way of being transported back to the golden era of the jet age when air travel was considered glamorous, even if travelers today say that they despise these glorified buses. And finally, when you look at the form of the Dulles mobile lounges, you can't help wonder if it may have been the inspiration for the Jawas Sandcrawler in the original Star Wars movie. So there it is, the story of the Dulles Airport mobile lounge buses. Now there's one other aspect to this story. Back around April or so, it was reported that Dulles Airport is going to be rehabbing their entire fleet of their mobile lounges. Now, what they did was they took one bus of each type. They took one of the Chrysler and Bud built vehicles and one of the newer Planemates and sent them to a remanufacturing facility in Brookville, Pennsylvania, which is like 250 miles from Washington. And when they receive the buses back, they will evaluate them and work out any issues they have with them. And then the rest of the fleet will follow to be rehabbed. So apparently, Dulles is still sticking with their mobile lounges, believe it or not. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Dulles mobile lounge buses. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.